Konnichiwa. Welcome to How to Japanese series. In this video, you will learn how to use mashoka to offer help or provide service. In plain speech, I will open the window is窓を開ける. We use the verb in short form. In polite speech, we would say 窓を開けます. Use the verb in its long form. If I would like to offer my help to open the window for someone, I would say 窓を開けましょう. I can also say 窓を開けましょうか Shall I open the window for you? Verb mashoka forms can be used as shall we or shall I, depending on the context. How do we change verbs from their short forms to mashou forms for invitation? If you know mas forms of verbs, changing them to mashou forms is very easy. To do so, we will first need to know the Japanese verb types. There are three types of Japanese verbs. The first group is U-verbs, also known as Group 1 verbs, such as the verbs that you see here. There are 9 possible verb endings for this type of Japanese verbs. The second group is Ru-verbs, also known as Group 2 verbs, such as the verbs that you see here. There is only one possible verb ending for this type of Japanese verbs, which is Ru, and Ru has to be preceded by an S sound or E sound. The third group is irregular verbs, also known as Group 3 verbs, and they include the following 2 verbs only. These verbs are short affirmative forms. Let's begin with Ru verbs and change them from short forms to mas forms. The long form of taberu is tabemasu. The long form of miru is mimasu. The formula is to drop the Ru ending of a Ru verb and then add mas. This way you will get the long form, aka polite form of the Ru verbs. This time we are going to conjugate the U verbs. As I mentioned earlier, there are 9 possible endings. They all have the U endings. Let's look at kau first that ends with U. When you first learned hiragana, you learned a, I, U, e, o, and U is a part of this row. Let's move down to matsu, to wait, and its ending is tsu, and tsu is a part of the tachi tsuteto row. The third word you see here is wakaru, which has the Ru ending, and Ru is a part of the rarirurero row. Here's the rest of the table. Please note, column 1 has all of the A sound characters, column 2, E sounds, column 3, U sounds, column 4, E sounds, and column 5, O sounds. I hope by now you have noticed that the endings of U verbs are just like the ones in column 3. Basically, column 3 contains the ending of U verbs in their short forms. It is very important to know this table well as you will use it for U verb conjugations. Now we're going to use this table and change U verbs into their mas forms. I am duplicating the verb list here so that I can show you the short forms and their mas forms side by side. How do we exactly change these U verbs to their mas forms? Let's revisit the middle column, which is the third column with the U sound characters. We're going to move from column 3 to column 2, containing all of the E sound characters. To change U verbs into their mas forms, we will need this E sound column to replace all of the U endings. Now we're going to add mas. By doing so, we are changing kau to its mas form, kaimasu. Now apply the same rule to matsu. So its mas form is machimasu. Now apply the same rule to wakaru. Its mas form is wakarimasu. You can pause the video and practice the rest of the mas forms. The meaning of the short form is exactly the same as its mas form. The only difference is we use the short forms in casual speech and the long forms in polite speech. In summary, to get mas forms of U verbs, we will need to change the U ending to E sound first and then add mas. Here's the recap for Ru verbs. To get the mas form of a Ru verb is to drop Ru and then add mas. Now let's move on to the 2 irregular verbs. For this group, we will need to drop the Ru ending and then replace the U sound with E sound. For suru, to do, drop Ru, change su to shi, and then add mas. So, します is the long form of する. For 来る to come, drop る, change く to き. So, 来ます is the long form of 来る. Must forms are the long forms used in polite speech. When we change must to mashou forms, we have changed verbs from long forms to shall I. It can also mean shall we depending on the context. Here we will use them as shall I to offer one's assistance. For example, 買います means I will buy something. 買いましょうか means shall I buy it for you. 待ちます means I will wait. And 待ちましょうか means shall I wait. You can add mashoka to the rest of the verbs here to offer your help or service. Dialogue 1. How to use mashoka to offer assistance and how to decline it when offered.
窓を開けましょうか。
いいえ、大丈夫です。The boy is offering his help to open the window, saying,
窓を開けましょうか。
The girl is declining his offer, saying, いいえ、大丈夫です meaning, no, it's okay. Alternatively, she can also say, いいえ、いいです You can use either expression to decline assistance. To say, you're good. Dialogue 2. How to use mashoka to offer assistance and how to accept the offer. 暑いですね。
窓を開けましょうか。
すみませんが、お願いします。The boy is offering his help to open the window, saying,
窓を開けましょうか。
The woman says, すみませんが、お願いします。Excuse me, but please. You can use this expression to accept any assistance or service offered to you. Here, please find 5 expressions that you can use to offer your assistance. Shall I help you? 手伝いましょうか? Shall I turn on the light for you? 電気をつけましょうか? Shall I open the door for you? ドアを開けましょうか? Shall I take the photo for you? 写真を撮りましょうか? Shall I carry it for you? 持ちましょうか? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. ではまた。